Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. Zack Snyder dropped another Justice League Deathstroke teaser, so this is going to be a breakdown. It just gives us an idea for what he's actually going to be doing in the movie. Zack Snyder posted this picture the other day just saying, Justice League cosplay, like it was no big deal, just having fun behind the scenes, still working on the movie. Still a lot of Justice League movie left to be made. He's got one of Batman's new arm gauntlets. It looks like it's been modified just a little bit. Pretty modular if he can just put one glove on at a time. But then when you zoom and enhance, CSI style, like zoom, enhance at his iPad here that he's messing with storyboards on, you see a meeting between Deathstroke and Lex Luthor. So it looks like that's the reason Deathstroke enters the story. Like Lex Luthor hires him and orders a hit on Batman and the Justice League. So wherever they take that, that will be part of the Justice League movie. Zack Snyder is not making the Batman movie, so any Deathstroke stuff that he's working on is only going to be in Justice League. But obviously we know that he's going to be in the Batman solo film, so as you can imagine with a lot of comic book villains, whatever ends up happening in the movie, there will be unfinished Deathstroke Batman business that they will pick up on during the Batman solo film. And if you didn't see that Batman video I posted a couple days ago, the CEO of Time Warner said that they're about 18 months out on the Batman solo film. But I think that's him just giving a preliminary guess. There's no indication that they're done with the script for that. So I'm guessing that movie is going to be sometime during 2019. So it's still a ways off. We're still talking about Justice League here. And there is still that rumor that we're going to get a really big Justice League official trailer around Christmas time, which I think is pretty likely. Like usually a couple big things drop around then. We have a Star Wars movie, we have Guardians of the Galaxy 2 footage that James Gunn's confirmed is dropping around that time of the year, and any other big thing that Marvel wants to drop. So probably some Spider-Man Homecoming too, because that movie is coming out a little bit after Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So all the studios, DC, Marvel, are trying to end the year with a bang. So let me know, what do you actually think Deathstroke is going to be doing for Lex Luthor during Justice League? Is it just a simple hit? Do you think he's just going to be like, all right, I want you to kill all of those people right over there. Just kill them any way you want to. I don't care. I'll give you all the money in the world. Because Deathstroke has a code of honor. He's not just going to go kill people because he hates them. He only kills people when there's a contract for their life. But I wouldn't be surprised if they try to build out his backstory just a little bit, just so that he's not completely Boba Fett in the movie. If it's been a long time, Boba Fett, obviously a really awesome, cool Star Wars character. But when he first debuted, there wasn't really a backstory. You just knew that he was this badass bounty hunter that didn't really talk, just stood there looking stone cold. Then when we got to Empire Strikes Back, he got a little bit more badass. But because we have Joe Manganiello playing the character, you expect him to be able to walk around without the mask on. And if they really want to get crazy with his character, they'll let one of the Justice League members, like Batman, take his eye out. But I don't know how hardcore they're going to make this movie. That would push it closer to an R rating, and they're wanting the movie to feel a little more hopeful. So let me know if you think they're going to do more comic book Deathstroke and he'll only have one eye when we first see him in the movie, or if he'll have two eyes and then at some point in the movie he'll lose one of them and become more comic booky Deathstroke by the end of the film. Usually I would say it's more fun if you're introduced to a character who's already had their origin story and then you slowly tease that out with dialogue, turns of phrase, references that they make over the course of whatever new adventure they're having in the story. So like Deathstroke comes into Justice League, probably be best if he's already fully Deathstroke, just going after the Justice League. And then as he's going after them, you learn little bits about his backstory in the DC movie universe. Because I do think it'll be very comic booky, but they change comic book stories just a little bit, so you have to already imagine that Deathstroke has had all these crazy adventures to earn the reputation that he has before he ever sets foot in this movie. So there's like all this untold Deathstroke story. Like you can make a whole movie just about Deathstroke, but part of the fun as fans is just trying to figure that out. So you don't really need to write fanfic. You just go out and you buy the Deathstroke comic book and it'll tell you everything you need to know about the character. And if you haven't been reading it, Deathstroke Rebirth is really cool. They just debuted the Ravager character. They had a couple flashbacks recently where you learn about Jericho, his other children, and you see Billy Wintergreen, his comrade in arms who kind of gives him his missions, so to speak. But based on the amount of comic book changes they made in Batman v Superman and the other DC movies so far, I'm expecting a few tweaks, like a few nips and tucks to the Deathstroke comic book backstory. So like he'll probably have already crossed paths with a lot of these other DC characters that we've met, with the exception of like Superman and Wonder Woman. because Wonder Woman's been hiding out since World War I, as of the beginning of Batman v Superman. Like, she's just come back into the public spotlight. The Flash has been keeping it on the DL, even though he's been around for a little while. Same thing with Aquaman. The world only just learned about Superman, so Deathstroke probably hadn't run into him before. But Amanda Waller, all the Suicide Squad characters, I would be willing to bet that they definitely know who Slade Wilson is, especially Amanda Waller. Amanda Waller's like one of the few other people, besides Batman, that collects information on everybody, both villains and superheroes. But just remember, even though Deathstroke is going to be kicking the shit out of the Justice League, at least a little bit, he's not technically a villain. It's just that anytime Batman appears in a movie, you automatically assume that he's the hero, so anybody that fights him becomes the antagonist by default. So like Harley Quinn, even though she's the hero of the Suicide Squad movie, she would be the antagonist of a Batman movie, depending on how they use her. But if it wasn't clear, this is actually something really interesting happening with the DC movies right now. And it's not that big of a surprise. Most of you probably picked up on it, is that Batman has really started to dominate it. One, he's assembling the Justice League, so he's kind of the lead of the Justice League movie. Two, the other movies that they've made have heavily involved his character or involve characters from his rogues gallery, like Harley Quinn in The Joker. In the next big film they're talking about making is that Harley Quinn movie. So like The Flash and Aquaman are two of the only characters right now whose movies we know they're making who didn't start out in a Batman comic. So you can't really say that Batman's dominating their storylines. But I don't think anybody's surprised that this is a very Batman-heavy DC movie universe. He's one of the most popular comic book characters of all time. Ben Affleck had a great performance. He was one of the best parts of Batman v Superman. So naturally, they double down on that. Just like, okay, everybody likes this, we will give you a whole lot of Batman. So I don't think that's a bad thing, but I do think it's interesting when you think about what's going on in the larger context. So let me know, what do you think about the idea of Deathstroke versus Batman in Justice League and then later in the Batman solo film? And then what do you think about the idea of a Batman-dominated DC movie universe? We should probably just call it the Batverse, even though that's a bit misleading because there are a lot of other really big characters. But congratulations to this week's giveaway winner, Wyatt Phillips. You win a $20 Amazon gift card. Be sure to private message me on the back end of my channel so I can get your contact details. There is a new round of the DC giveaway too. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber, leave a comment on this video. The Flash and Arrow are back next week. There will be another Flash video that I'll make next. Then I'll be making another Luke Cage episode video. So you still got plenty of time to binge Luke Cage, but I'll add links for all that stuff in the description. While you guys wait for that to post, you can click here for my Luke Cage Easter eggs from the first couple of episodes, and you can click here for the Superhero Fight Club trailer. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.